For a good majority of my life, I've been a Nintendo gamer, so you can only imagine the thrill it brought me to hear that Nintendo finally got the nerve to give a Mario movie another shot. And let me tell you, it is a lot better than I expected that it would be. I usually have pretty high expectations when it comes to things coming out of Nintendo, so it's not like I was concerned about them being the problem. What I was concerned with was Illumination, because they are responsible for the absolute plague that are the minions and their despicably evil fart humor. Even if I put those yellow Tic Tacs aside, nothing else the studio has done is very remarkable in my opinion. But that changes with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Illumination hit the ball out of the park with this one, and it is by far one of, if not the best animated movie they have ever produced. The graphics are absolutely stunning. The characters look great, and they move very fluidly. It's just got that right level of cartoonish energy that just makes it perfect. I'd say the thing that probably looks the worst, if I had to say something, was just the average New York citizens, but they don't spend much time on screen, so it doesn't really matter. And they're just background characters, so who cares? The music was also really good. The way that they mixed original, actual composition of music with the motifs and themes from all across the Mario series was just outstanding. It references everything, almost. It spans the entire series of games, starting from the themes from the overworld and underground themes in the very first Mario game, all the way to Fossil Falls' theme in Mario Odyssey, and so much more. It is so fun to just go through and see what references you can find. And it's not just like they threw the stuff in there. It actually works with what's happening on screen as well. It just feels so natural, and it is so great. What doesn't feel great about the soundtrack, though, is the random insertion of licensed music. Don't get me wrong, I like the songs that they put in, but just not in a Mario movie. And Mario has such an expansive library of games and music. Would it really have been that hard to pull a few more themes out and work them in somewhere? I think they would have only needed 3 more songs to make sure they had all their bases covered. It's like they ran out of time and just threw some stuff in from the director's playlist. What makes it worse is that, from my understanding, they have a song on the soundtrack, or they did, that was comprised of a lot of Donkey Kong themes and references to be put in when the characters, a little bit of spoiler here, but kind of not really, when the characters first go into the Jungle Kingdom to meet the Kongs. So why did they decide to scrap it? It's kind of just confusing. I don't really get why they did that. If you have the song, use it. As for the voice acting, I feel like I am one of the people who actually didn't mind it, because everyone was so hesitant about Chris Pratt playing Mario. I personally don't mind Chris Pratt. I think he does pretty good as a voice actor and just an actor in general. And considering how large of a role Mario is, he did a really good job. I don't mind his voice because it encapsulates that main character who's in over their head but never gives up regardless type of energy that worked perfectly in this movie. Pretty much every character's voice was pretty spot on, except for Cranky Kong. Fred Armisen, he didn't work very good as Donkey Kong. He didn't sound old, he didn't sound cranky, he just didn't sound right. Honestly, there's so many better people that they could have found. I don't have any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are, definitely. I also was not aware that Scott Menville was in this. The dude who voices Robin on Teen Titans Go. That just completely blindsided me, because I think it was a Koopa or one of the Dry Bones in one of the scenes that I heard, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that the dude who plays Robin? Like, is that Teen Titans Go voice acting? Which didn't make sense at first, but then after I looked at who was, like, directing it, they had some experience. I think it was, like, directing and writing on Teen Titans Go. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense that they might pull in an actor from there to do, like, some extras, some background characters. I just thought it was kind of weird. Funny, but weird. And I also like Charles Martinet's cameos as Mario's dad, and also just some random guy in the restaurant or whatever they were in at the beginning. But it's kind of weird because you have this guy who's the original voice of Mario, so he sounds like Mario, and he's dressed like Mario, and he does the actions like Mario, but it's not Mario. It's kind of weird. I don't think they should have put that guy in. They could have just left Charles Martinet as Mario's dad, and it would have been a sufficient reference. I don't think they should have brought attention to the fact where it's like, oh, we could have the original guy do Mario's voice, but we're just not going to. Like, it's just a bit weird to bring that to attention, and it felt a little weird for me watching it. But maybe that's a bit of an issue that people can overlook. It didn't dampen my whole experience. It just kind of was like, oh yeah, we could be having that guy voicing Mario, but we're just not for some reason, I guess. And another thing that I had an issue with was Seth Rogen's laugh. I didn't mind Seth Rogen being cast as Donkey Kong. I think he does pretty good. But that stupid laugh. Why does he have to do that in everything he does? When he sits down to make the contracts for his voice acting, is something that he puts in there. He's like, alright, I'll do your role, but I have to be able to do the laugh. If I can't do the laugh, then I'm not doing it. Like, I don't like it. It's weird, and I don't feel like it'd be something Donkey Kong would do. I just don't like it. I don't have a real rational explanation for it. It's just so weird and cursed. I don't really like it. It's like, you know what I'm talking, right? Like the laugh that he does. It's so, it's kind of disgusting. But as for the plot, I felt like the plot was fine. I only had like two kind of small issues with it. One of them was that, so another spoiler here, they do a bit of a flashback kind of scene and it shows Mario and Luigi as babies, and it uses their baby designs, you know, like from in the games, which, you know, cool reference, neat, but when it specifically calls out that their plumber outfits were something that they came up with recently, like with the white gloves and their outfits and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to be wearing those same outfits in the past, does it? You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense unless their plumber outfits are just some outfits they've worn since they were toddlers and just made them in larger sizes as they got older. I don't know. It's just a bit of like, not a continuity error, but it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And number two, this is my more major criticism with it. For it being called the Mario Bros movie, like bros plural, brothers, Luigi doesn't get a lot of time in the spotlight. It's only in the very beginning and at the very end that he gets time, and you get to hear Charlie Day's voice a lot, which is criminally underused. He is such a good voice actor for Luigi. Same with Jack Black. Jack Black does really great as Bowser. But I would love to see more of Charlie Day as Luigi. It is so good, and Luigi's one of my favorite characters in Mario. He's probably more of my favorite than Mario himself is. You know? I really think that the movie could have benefited if Luigi wasn't the one that got captured. I'm not saying Peach should have got captured. Like, I like that they're able to do stuff with her instead of her just sitting in a castle cage, being a damsel. But they could have just had someone else or not had anyone be captured, because if you take Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach all together, that's the original 4 playable characters in Super Mario Bros. 2, you know, and in more recent games, Super Mario 3D World. Like, why didn't they just do that, you know? I think that would have worked a whole heck of a lot better, honestly. And, you know, I don't know, it's just kind of weird that they didn't use Luigi more. I would have loved to see him more, honestly. And because of him being so underused, it really gives me like hope that they'll make a Luigi's Mansion movie, because I think Chris Pratt said that, there's more Mario stuff on the way. There's no signs of stopping, which I think is good. I want them to make more stuff with this universe, these characters, these actors. So maybe a Luigi's Mansion movie where we hear Luigi more, like, because almost the whole time. I mean, King Boo was in this movie. Spoiler, I guess, but he doesn't do anything. He's just like a background character. But King Boo's there. So maybe a Luigi's Mansion movie. Who knows? Though, with the after credit scene, which there is an after credit scene, it's like they're in the sewers. Well, the camera goes through like some pipes, and they're in like a dark area, and then a Yoshi egg hatches. So I'd say if there was going to be a sequel, it may be like a Yoshi's Island one, like a prequel where it's based on the Yoshi's Island games where Mario and Luigi are babies. Or maybe a Yoshi standalone movie, something like that. I don't know. Though, what I think would be cool, and I'm not the first person to suggest this idea, I've heard other people say this as well, but I think it'd be really cool if they make a bunch of movies, like kind of like what happened with the MCU, where you have Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, and they all come together in one movie to make the Avengers. What they should do here is to make a Mario movie, maybe like a Yoshi one, a Legend of Zelda one, a Kirby one, a Star Fox one, and bring all these characters together into a Smash Bros. Movie where it plays out the plot of Subspace Emissary and or World of Light. I think that'd be really cool to do that, and I think people would love to have anything to do with subspace, be brought back. And that's kind of one of the only, like, story modes. Like, World of Light and Subspace are kind of the only ones, because Smash 4 didn't really have one, and Melee and 64 also, I don't think, really had one. Those would be really good inspirations to draw from. And, hey, with the Minecraft movie reportedly coming out in, 2024, 2025? Who knows, maybe Steve will be voiced by Jason Momoa. I hope not. I really hope not. They can do something better. But, yeah, that's kind of all my thoughts as a whole. If I had to rate this movie, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not a 9. It's not quite a 9, but also it's not as low as an 8. It's like an 8.5, right in the middle. It's very fun for the whole family. You will definitely enjoy the references if you're a Mario fan. I'd say it'd be better to go into this being a Mario fan, because if not, a lot of stuff goes over your head, or you don't really quite, it's not necessarily intuitive. If you're a Mario fan, then you can take it as like face value of like, oh yeah, he eats mushrooms and he just gets bigger or smaller depending on the mushroom. Yeah, that's just something that happens. It's not something that has to be explained why. You just know that it is that way. So maybe before you go, do a little bit of research, play some of the games. That's probably the best advice I could give you, because they don't explain, they briefly explain it, but they don't really say why. Not that it needs a reason why, but they don't, and I've seen some people take a little bit of issue with that, to where these things aren't explained. Why is it like this? When it's sort of a pre-established thing that is just the way it is. No explanation required. So, whoever thought that you would need to do research to go see a Mario movie, out of all things, right? But yeah. So, if you like the video, if you enjoy me listening to me do my thing every once in a while when I decide to post, like and subscribe to, be notified when I actually do upload, when I decide to do that. Share it with other people. I'm really glad we've gotten as far as we have. I think we're at like 65 subscribers. That's way more than I thought I ever would. And I just want to take a little bit of time at the end of the video to actually thank you for that so far, like with my actual voice instead of just some text that I send out. It really means a lot to me. I'm hoping that maybe by the end of the year we could break 100. I think that'd be a really neat goal. And maybe I do something special for that, like a Q&A. Nothing like a face reveal, though. That, I don't know if I'd ever do one of those. But we'll have to see. So, but yeah, thanks for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.